Well, good evening, race fans. Good evening, world. It's Spiffy G here, using Mark's opening tagline, welcoming you to soggy Suzuka in Japan. Only it's not really in Japan. It's Gran Turismo, and we are here in the awesome AMG 6.8 liter Red Pig that won the Spa endurance race in 1971. So, folks, we want to welcome you to the races. Glad to have you on board. We are currently in practice. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping here before we get started. So, enjoy the action on track as we get things together. All right, folks, we are back. Everything's looking good on the stream, so looks like we got Matt MacIver out on intermediates, so we've already got water on the track. I don't know if it's going to be that way when the race starts. Often it's not. We should be getting ready for qualifying here momentarily. We are about, I have to take the overlay off, we are about 14 minutes in right now into the lobby. So we should be seeing qualifying in about 2 more minutes. Give or take a couple. I want to apologize in advance. I'll be hitting the mute button a lot because I coughed that too. So hope you'll forgive me in advance. Currently we have James 222.7 on a damp track. It is pretty good, especially in this car. Turbo Nova, Jeff at 225. Expect that's going to drop significantly. Wilkie Bob here in third. Let's see here. No, we can't look around. Apparently my look around function isn't working, so we're just going to have to look at the front and back of the cars. Wilkie Bob has chosen a simple livery. Here's Marky B. Oh, Marky B driving old Rusty. Car's looking the worse for wear. Watt in the old school bus. Spinny using a classic livery as he always loves to do. And sporting his new nickname, Spinny Gonzalez. Something we just got over the weekend. As he was very quick in the minis, but also very spinny in the mini. All right, James. Fatty. I don't know what that is, but I like it because our car is in fact a fatty. And Matt's in the pit, so we can't see his livery, but I guarantee you it's good. The class has gone with it. The class has gone with the classic livery, the Bilstein, which was one of the companies that helped build this car back in '71 for the 24 Hours of Spa, which this car won its class. All right, Klaus is down to 223, so he's rivaling James in pure pace. But Jeff's back in the pits. Marky B on track with the 225. Trying to keep that thing steady. In spite of how it looks, this car is actually pretty good in the corners. Don't know how it is in the wet since I've never tried it, but it does appear to be doing a real nice job with the right turns. And Wookie Bob, the 226, almost 227. Watts at 228 and a half. We expect that time to improve dramatically. And the water on the track seems to be drying up. So that could bode well for the guys. Now he's 3 seconds down so far on his previous best time. So I'm expecting this should be a much better lap. It's 224 there on the right. That's oh no, dude. Well, there went that idea. Still probably going to be better. Yeah, quite a bit better. 4 seconds almost better. So nicely done, Watt. Yeah, Jeff's going out. I don't know if he's going out on softs, but he's got softs on. I'd be interested to see if he does, particularly in qualifying. We're going to have to see how wet it is in qualifying. Right now, the water indicator on track is about halfway. Let's see what it's looking like actually on the track. So, oh, almost gone. Okay. And we're coming through the S's here, and there is virtually no water on the track. And he's running softs right now as with Bob. You can already see his times improving. Yeah, absolutely no water around this sweeper. Yes, I am ready. I can figure out how to get chat to work on this thing. Hey, that ain't gonna do it. There it is. And what you just saw was evidence of stick drift. This is going to be a real problem. I may have to change out my equipment here. Yeah, let's do that before things get any worse. God knows what's going to happen if I try to use this during the race. There we go. No more stick drift. Well, let's go back into spectator mode. And James and the Big Fuddy. Glass is out rolling. Wilkie Bob is out having a good time. Let's see what the track looks like here. All right, so no water. Right now they're back on slick tires. And Wilkie Bob has improved by at least a second. All right, we're about to start quali, everybody. Get ready. Here it comes. All right, so they're already out on wet weather tires. Wilkie Bob's still on his softs, and I'm just going to be changing those soon. Water is up over the halfway mark already. Unfortunately, I cannot see what the weather conditions are. Presumably, they are not going to be good for slick tires. So James first out on the track. Got behind Klaus somehow. And Klaus was out second. But James is dropping back. Ooh, looking very slick. And this is on inters. So if he's already doing that on inters, that track is very sloppy indeed. Oh, what are you guys doing? James already picked up a half-second penalty by the drive off into the dirt. So he will probably want to be coming in after he takes a spin around. we are already getting into some severely wet conditions. Very heavy rain. So the guys on inters are just moving very gingerly around the track, hoping conditions improve, I suppose. I think Wilkie Bob went a bit wide, but let's get the replay computer working. Let's have a look at Wilkie Bob, see what happened here. Yes, he did go off the gravel. None the worse for it. So as you can see for Wednesday Night Classics this season, Season 2, we are driving the Classic 71 AMG 6.8 liter Red Pig. The car made famous for its one and only race at the 24 Hours of Spa, where it won its class. After that, rule restrictions were put into place, and the car was never seen on a major racetrack again. And eventually it was sold to a company, I think it was an aircraft tire company. I believe it was. What did it say here? I've got some information about that. But it said that because of the rule change, they weren't able to drive the car in major races anymore. So they eventually sold it to a company that tested aircraft tires of all things, and nobody knows what happened to it after that. So unfortunately the original seems to be lost to history, but lots and lots of replicas live on. The car became very famous for that one race, and based on the 300 SEL, which was a favorite of dictators around the world, including a famous Ugandan tyrant by the name of Idi Amin. If you don't know what that means, look it up. So this car, when it was introduced, had a 6.3 liter engine, V8. It was capable of producing 247 horsepower, which is not bad for that day and age, actually quite impressive. But the car was built for luxury and comfort. Not at all what you would expect to see on a racetrack. The car initially weighed 4,050 pounds roughly. Wow, its clouds go spinning out. That was wild. Which I don't know what that is in kilograms, but it's somewhere around 1,800, I think. Quite a heavy car. Yeah, 1,830 kilograms is what this car came out as initially. The founders of the AMG, a pair of guys named Hans Albrecht and Erhard Melcher, left the Mercedes-Benz company where they were engineers. They loved to tune and build engines, so they decided to form their own company to do that, build racing engines and tune them up. That's when they formed AMG. It was the AMG, and I'm going to screw this up, but bear with me. It's AMG Motorenbau und Entwicklungsgesellschaft, GmbH. AMG Engine Production and Development Limited. And of course, like I said, it was the go-to drive of all your favorite dictators everywhere. So back in '71, the story goes, they took a damaged 300 SEL and decided to turn it into a race car, an endurance race car, and converted that 6.3 liter standard mill into an obnoxious 422 horsepower 6.8 liter beast. That was only the start of the Crimson Swine. They worked with Bilstein, as you can see on Klaus's livery, to create a suspension for it. Replaced the old steel doors with aluminum. Did a few other things, lots and lots of suspension upgrades, you know, all the kind of things that you want to expect for racing. Stiffened the frame, put in a roll cage because you have to. Surprisingly, the interior was not changed that much. It still had all of its seats. But they still, in spite of all that, managed to get the thing down about 200 kilograms below its original weight. So that, the increase in power, and the fortified suspension, plus a lot of engine mods that made the engine more reliable over the course of a long race, equated to a car that could just keep on running when all the others were passing out. And this thing competed with Alfa Romeos, Ford Capris, you name it, all those cars in its class from that era, and beat all of them. So the 80,000 or so people at Spa that saw this thing come out, this classic red livery, were laughing their hind ends off until the thing started showing what it could do, and it shut them all right up. From then on, it became a classic and warmed the hearts of millions. So Matt MacGyver's out on a sloppy track with the fastest lap, and it's just supplanted by James, the 226.971. Klaus von Orlock comes in second with the 227 so far. We have got about 2 minutes left. Yeah, 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. So already James is taking advantage of a drier track. Now Wilkie Bob comes in, knocks it off by way better than 2 seconds. But what's Wilkie Bob on? Wilkie Bob's on inners as well. So interesting. Everybody seems to be out on inners. Matt MacGyver is on full wets. Interesting choice. Given the water on track at the moment, probably not the best one. Markey is out on full wets. Might have been the best one at the beginning, but we're not seeing a whole lot of good results from it at the moment. Turbo Nova's on inners. So Jeff is probably on the best tire right now. It is John Player Special. Smoke if you got him. All right, Wilkie Bob, 224 on inners. Well done. Great lap. And Mark has just put down a time of 226 and puts Mark up into second. Fantastic. Just ahead of James. Klaus with a 227.5. Looking to make better on that. He comes up over the hill into the spoon. Let's see if he can hang on to it. He stays off the curb. Well, he stays off one curb wisely, but you can see that car get very loose when it comes into the second curb. So he's avoiding this one, and well, he should. So with only 30 seconds to go, it's not looking like he's going to be able to put another one in. So he needs this one to be fast. So come on, Klaus. Camera's on you, pal. Hope you're listening. Yeah, very little lift. We're on the penultimate turn. And into the chicane. Lots and lots of curb. Takes the green. Gets very wet momentarily. It looks like he's going to have a decent lap. Don't know if it's going to be enough. No, it will not. But improves greatly. Improves by 3 seconds. And then some. So well done, Klaus. So his quality is done. Here comes Watt. With a 225.4 for his last lap. Marky B coming around the spoon. Lots and lots of trail braking, and puts it full send now. Mark way down in 7th at the moment on full wets. This is going to be a tall order for Mark, but he's giving it everything it's got. All right, a 159.8. So yeah, that will not equate even his best. Yeah, and then he goes. He says full wets just aren't going to cut it right now, and he's right. All right, so here comes Spinny. Side by side. All right, we are done. Spinny with a 226.0. Watt 225.4. And pardon the excess noise from my voice. Let me drop this down a little bit. It's very, very loud. Okay, hope that's more comfortable. So, Watt in the school bus at 225. That's fun. Orlock 224.1. Great lap on that last one. Wilkie Bob with a 223 on his final lap. James with a 223.0 puts him into second on the grid. And first on the grid, unsurprisingly, Jeff with a better than a half-second lead on the rest of the field. Is John Player Special with a 222.48. Fantastic run. So all of those laps were put down on wet tires. Intermediates or full wets. So we do have another 34 seconds. I don't believe there's anybody left on track doing a hot lap. Nope, everybody's got the flashers on. So we're just waiting for Polyphony Digital to do its thing. And that is that. So, Turbo Nova, James on the front row, Wilkie Bob, Klaus Van Orlock on row 2, Watt and Spinny on row 3, Marky B and Matt, who chose the full wets against probably all advice, are going to be bringing up the back row. So 8 cars on the course tonight. Pretty good number. And if you haven't driven this car, I highly recommend you give it a shot. It is much more fun than you would think. In spite of being 1,600 plus kilograms, that is over 1,800, or I'm sorry, over 3,600 pounds. The car is surprisingly nimble. And it will top out, I believe, somewhere around 160 miles an hour along the straight. Not bad for 1971. So most of the engine work done on this car was by the co-founder Erhard Melcher. Apparently, was the big engine aficionado of the two. High precision camshafts, reinforced rocker arms, lighter connecting rods, new model pistons, big intake valves. They redesigned the combustion chambers, polished the intakes, it's just all that stuff that the motor boffins like to do. Even added an oil cooler and a racing exhaust. And bumped up, I doubled the horsepower, close to double the horsepower. It's insanely powerful era. 422 horses. And while the car was not exactly light, it could really put the power down to the road. Yeah, it says that Bilstein, which has worked with Mercedes-Benz since 1957, were the ones that fitted the suspension. Which included an air suspension that supported conventional shocks, which surprises me. But the rear axle was modified with bones. So lots and lots of work done to the car to make it look as original as it does. It still looks like a world leader's car from back in the 70s, aside from all of the ridiculous stickers all over. So, Matt MacGyver's congratulating Jeff, James, and Bob. Done indeed, sirs. So now we wait. Should be exciting to see what happens with the rain here. I terribly, terribly wet at the beginning of qualifying, then continued to dry out as quality progressed. And you can see that really working to the advantage of the folks who came out on intermediate tires. So, guys, make sure you check your weather radars as we are about to begin the race. This puppy in spectator mode as soon as it's able. All right, let's get the goodies up. Bring up the overlay. Pow. All right, folks. Pull those handbrakes. No false starts. And we're off. Let's see. We're getting much wheel spin. Looks like, yep, everybody's getting through the first little bit cleanly. I didn't hear a whole lot of wheel spinning. Spinning trying to take the inside line back. That's a no-go. Klaus gets the best line, but goes into the grass and slows himself down. James peels away and takes the lead. Looks like Turbo Nova had a little bit of trouble there at the beginning. He lost his spot. Here comes Wilkie Bob with the inside line for the moment. Difficult to say who's going to have the advantage here as they go through too wide. Turbo Nova looks like he has the faster line. He's going to be coming up to the big left-hander and takes two away from Wilkie Bob. So P2 for Jeff, P3 for Wilkie Bob. James, meanwhile, while these guys are fighting it out, grabs another half second. Nose to tail all the way back to Matt. Literally nose to tail as it looks like he gets into Mark a little bit, does Matt. No harm done. Nobody's off the track. Everybody looking good, getting through cleanly. As we come into the nasty, nasty hairpin. And Wilkie Bob manages to maintain P2 as James goes back to. Sorry, Wilkie Bob went into P2. Turbo Nova took first. James went back. See if we can get a little bit of a replay on that. Let's see what happened to James. Oh, so James got really loose in there. Probably gave it a little bit too much throttle. And the car got loose, and he loses 2 spots. Back to nose to tail racing all the way to the back. Marky V gets a little loose. Lets Matt go by as his car just does not want to behave. What are you wearing on that car? He's got intermediates. Everybody, but it would appear Matt are on the intermediate tires. Interesting choice. Matt must be looking for a lot heavier rain. Let me pull this overlay out here so you can see. Yeah, it is a very wet track at the moment. And ordinarily, I would say that should lend itself to the heavier wet tires, but it does not seem to be accruing to Matt's benefit as he falls back once again. And Jeff is off, and James follows him off. So, Bob says thank you very much. Takes their spot. Turbo Nova hits a big patch of wet. I wonder if we'll be able to see what happened there. Let's take a look and see what happened to Turbo Nova. Let's see if he finds himself back in second. He just flat out went off. Just overcooked it. But he's back in second now. Klaus with a half-second penalty. It looks like he got a little bit tangled up. Klaus will have to serve that penalty pretty soon as James finds a way through on the inside. Picks up P3. Now Mark and Matt are falling back. Looks like Mark and Matt are going to be racing each other, so they're still trying to get a handle on how these cars work in wet conditions. I think nobody really knows how these cars will behave in wet. They're finding out the hard way. Wilkie Bob gets a great exit out of the big right-hander. Kind of unstable on the spoon, but keeps it together as James is looking to the inside. See if he can slip past Jeff, and he can. Can't quite get the traction, so he thinks better of it. This guy's going to take his penalty. Now the penalties won't have as much effect on the wet, which may be good news for a lot of the drivers. Though this isn't one of those tracks that's real tricky to where you have to take your knocks. When the track is wet and those brakes come on, you just slide right through. So it hasn't accrued to Spinny's benefit very much. Klaus had to serve a half-second penalty thanks to the slick track. Still very close racing. We're already 3 laps in on a wet, nasty track. We haven't lost anybody, and the furthest behind is Matt on wet tires, under 5 seconds behind. So this is proving to be a cracking race. Turbo Nova tries to find a line past Wilkie Bob. Can't do it on the outside. This track is miserable for trying to overtake. There are very few good passing zones. Probably the best one is near the end, just before you get to the chicane on that long sweeper, coming in full tilt. So if you have a good slipstream, you might be able to pick them up at the chicane. As Wilkie Bob puts down a purple sector, trying to get that fastest lap away from Matt MacGyver, of all people, on his wet tires. Very impressive run from Matt. But he's going to want to get off of those things fairly soon, unless I don't have access to the weather map, so I don't know what the radar says about what's coming in. Perhaps he knows something I don't, but he may want to get off these wet tires sooner than later. Turbo Nova is not letting up on Bob. None of them are. All the way back to Klaus, 4th. This is anybody's race at the moment. Oh, it's Turbo Nova. Oh, he almost got the inside on the left-hander here. Just couldn't make the overtake soon enough, so he had to back off, which was the wise move. Still, though, giving him absolutely no quarter. Yeah, trying to find a way in on that passing side. You can see Turbo Nova and James taking advantage of that hard braking zone. Almost took P2 away from Turbo Nova. And he does! He does in the turn before the front straight. So excellent move by James. We'll have to get another look at that. Now James making a move on Jeff. Gets a great run on him. He'll have the inside. And gets it. He's going to make this one stick. Pardon me. Providing he can stay on track, not hit those curbs too hard. You hit a curb too hard here, you go from mildly wet to soaking wet in the blink of an eye, and the car becomes instantly unstable. So Jeff, oh, you didn't splash. So James made an outstanding move on Jeff and got a purple sector, and is just pulling away at the moment. That looks like Klaus and Turbo Nova are hard on each other as Bob goes to the back. What happened to Bob? Let's see if I can find it. So back to Bob. Okay, so here's Bob in first. What? Oh, he's pitted. Okay, understood. So after losing that spot, Bob decided it was time to go into regular racing tires. Interesting move. He must have seen something on the radar that piqued his interest and made him want to change those tires. So now he's out on softs. And if it was the right decision, you should see him picking up maybe 4 seconds a lap or better. So we shall see as James goes a full second ahead. Klaus is taking P2. Watt now in P3 as Jeff drops back again to P4. And Kiki is he's got his flashers on for some reason. We'll have to see. You got your flashers on, Kiki? Nope. Just his regular lights. Oh, Watt with a really good lap here. Now he's on inners and he's almost 2 seconds better than his best lap. I think he just needed some clean air. Still though, he's going. Klaus von Orlock takes first. Oh, I'm missing all the good parts. What happened? This replay button's gonna wear my finger out. So Klaus gives James a tiny little nudge, doesn't take him off track. He stabilized his car, Annie. Now he just got a great run into the first turn. I think this thing's going to run out before we get a chance to see exactly what happened. It's James and Terminova going side by side. Yeah, this is what Terminova racing. All right, well done, Klaus. Excellent run. I'm sorry I wasn't able to pick it up. Klaus now pulling away from James by half a second. Boy, they're just throwing in purple sectors left and right as this track race happening. So now Watt has the fastest lap at 2:24. Let's see what's happening with Wilkie Bob. Have his laps improved? Difficult to say at the moment. He's still coming off his pit lap. Oh, damn, Klaus is pulling away. Now a full second almost ahead of James. Let's go through that corner. James gets a great exit out of the hairpin. And it's closing the gap now. As Turbo Nova, Jeff looks to make some inroads here. But who's still sporting the fastest lap? Coming out of the hairpin, we got Matt and Wilkie Bob. And Wilkie Bob just is not finding the pace of the soft tires. I think the track is still just a little bit too big. Klaus downshifting, doing everything he can to fight those lousy brakes. And drops the fastest lap. Oh, and Watt comes right behind him and then does Turbo Nova. All three pick up fastest laps, one after another. And currently Jeff has the fastest overall. But all very close, all on the intermediates. James's tires are scorched right in front of his car. Still able to put down 2:24.3. This is not last. Look for James to be coming in for this one stuff. You can just hear the thing squealing. It sounds awful. Okay, Turbo Nova coming up on Watt's Chuff. Not able to get him through the S's. Let's see what happens at Degna 1. It's a fast corner. And off goes James! Oh no! Oh, James. All the way back to 5th. And he's going to have dirty tires. And you could tell those tires just didn't have any life left in them. Let's see if we can pick up what happened. As Marky B now has James in his sights. And he will pick up 5th as James goes off once again. Tires absolutely gone. And Wilkie Bob not having any love for the softs. Still way too wet for them. Now you can see, if you watch the wet meter on Klaus's screen, barely any water going around the spoon. you're seeing a lot from Watt because he went off on the curb. But as he gets onto the main straight, out of the spoon, you can see there's very little water in that part of the track. How much water, though, is in this big sweeper here is the question, because you're going to see with bad tires, a lot of these folks are going to be going wide. Be careful. But all of them seem to get through fine. Marky B's tires are pretty well done, too. James's are absolutely destroyed. I mean, he can't even make it over the turns. There's nothing left. So we know where James was getting his speed, that's for sure. He was wringing everything out of that front he possibly could. As Marky B and Klaus go in, James should be next, I would hope. James, did you miss the pits? No, he's in, oh thank God. Okay. Alright, Matt's on intermediates at the moment. Run on some new tires, and this should put him up toward the front. Wilkie Bob's still struggling with those slicks. Watt now in the lead ahead of Jeff, only barely. Oh, Jeff right on his trunk. Oh my goodness. He's doing everything he can not to run into him. Oh my goodness. So Jeff, Watt goes wide. It's a good exit in spite of it. Seems to pay off according to those wet curves. Oh, Jeff gets into his rear, has to back off and let it go. Yeah, it gives him plenty of room to get back on track. That is going to be some bad news for Jeff, because Spinny is now closing in. Let's take a look. Oh, here he goes. Oh, Jeff with a strong move on the inside as Watt has to go wide, losing all kinds of grip. And his tires are scorched. They're gone. They're over. Spinny goes whipping past. Is much less used than used tires. Turbo Nova, I'm afraid this is going to be his last good run on the set. As you can see, he's trying really hard not to go wide there in the speed. Watt, on the other hand, had to just take it so gingerly. He's lost a full second and more on Spinny. He's just trying to make it through. His tires have completely given up the ghost. Barely able to make it into the pit. Oh, I hope he doesn't pick up the penalty. He could barely get the car turned into the pit. As Klaus goes off on his soft tires, I think we should have learned our lesson a while ago, Klaus. Soft tires were not the way to go at the moment. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here comes Matt. Yeah, now this is Matt's. This will be Matt's third set of tires. Bob's still on the softs. 2:23.5, great lap. In spite of the struggle, Klaus now out on softs. Spinny out. Oh, he's not come in yet. Turbo Nova still out on the same set of inters. This is Spinny. Got to be coming in on this corner. They're not even having it around. By the time they get to the final corner, there's not going to be any. So that should play into the hands of Klaus. As 17.3 seconds would easily be. Ooh, look at that. Just using every bit of gearing he has to slow the car down. This thing only has 4 speeds. Yeah, it's a 4-speed H pattern. The thing is, it gets so much torque out of that 6.8 power plant. It doesn't need gears. It just needs a heavy footing. interesting. Yeah, it's Vinny. It's a great run. What's going to happen when he comes into the corner, though? Oh, not only does he keep it clean, he has plenty of room. As does Turbo Nova. All right, how are they going to do in the chicane here? He got onto the green. That may not be the best idea. He goes a little bit wide. You've got to be coming in, Speedy. Tell me you're coming in. Yes, he is. Okay, as is Jeff. All right, so Klaus now has erased about, on that lap, he raced about 10 seconds. Still struggling on the softs, but he has so much more pace now. And he's going to just jump right into first. There he goes. So Klaus on the softs. Wilkie Bob on the softs. He pops in and beats there. Marky B crosses the line and takes P3. He's on mediums of all things, so he wants to get to perhaps the end of the race. The track now, at least the part that we are on at the moment, is completely dry. So for all the folks that have already gone on slick tires, you may be expecting a tremendous advantage. I see absolutely no water in this tires at the moment. There's a little bit right there. Okay, coming into the S's, he's got a little bit of water. Through the S's, a little bit more. If he stays off the curbs, he should be fine. And picks his way through very carefully, avoiding all of the red and white. Gets through nice and clean, tasty little run through there. Wilkie Bob, he's been on those sauce forever. Look at that, a 2:17.9 on this last lap. So finally, the slip tires are coming into play. It's looking very dicey for Bob, beginning of this stint on his tires. All right, Matt is on softs. Still way in the back, but puts down a 2:22.9 on his entries before he came in. Tire wear seems pretty rapid today. The time violations of tire wear seems to be significant. Back to the front we go, and now Klaus with a comfy 5 second. Yeah, 5 seconds. We'll say 5 minutes. It must feel like 5 minutes to anybody behind it. Wilkie Bob now 8.5 second lead over Mark. It's a huge gap between P1 and P3. An even bigger gap between P2 and P4. This Turbo Nova drops back to Jeff having his struggles today. Although every time Jeff gets back on track, pit stop, an off or a spin, he seems to pick up the pace. Watt is still out on hitters. That's interesting. This was barely on the track. It's a little bit there. She come down the front straight. But the wipers are off. Watt's best lap at 2:23.8. Today is a 2:24.6. Though he is out on the softs, I expect that to go down very rapidly. James is at 2:19.6, which is a rapid lap. James on the mediums this time. So interesting strategy for both him and Marky B. As Klaus continues to make distance between himself and Bob. Bob is on 6-lap-old tires. Looks like he is going to get maybe one more good lap. Still sporting the fastest lap. Love that torn up wretched livery. It must have taken a good long time to make that happen. It takes a lot of work to make something look that pretty. Turbo Nova. it's not a purple sector. Boy, do you get a lot. But the track is bone dry now. Despite how foggy it looks, there's very little moisture on the track. Yeah, the curb string is starting to dry out, so good news for anybody on slicks. As Wilkie Bob goes in, yeah, he wrung every ounce on those tires. And Jeff takes P3. As Wilkie Bob goes in for boots and juice. The boot juice boogie. All right, Watt is in. Going to get off those intermediates, I'm sure. Has plenty of fuel, so it should be a short stop for him. What's going on with Marky B up here? Car's getting a little loose, but looks good. Now, I thought traction control would be unavailable, but apparently traction control is available in the race. So if you guys are listening, guys on track, and you were afraid traction control wasn't available, I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Because Mark is sporting traction control, as is Klaus and Jeff. Matt MacGyver and Watt all using traction control. The only ones who are not are Bob, James, Rob, Spinny, and that's it. Just those three: Spinny, James, and Bob. No TC. So I'm going to say that's by choice. I may personally think it's insane. 2 issues. And Jeff is looking quick. 2:16.8. Absolutely scorches fastest lap. Swipes it away. Oh no, it wasn't one. It wasn't that fastest lap. How did I miss that? Bob. Swipes from Bob. Sorry, Bob. So his fastest was 2:17.9, which was a crappy lap. Jeff just destroys it by over a second. And Jeff will always be the one to watch out for. It doesn't seem to matter what the car is. And as good as he is, it doesn't mean you can count anybody else out. Especially looking at Klaus's performance right now. So he's putting down a couple of 2:18s and seems to be better each lap. The thing that could be a game changer, anyone who would like to beat Jeff in this race, and I'm assuming that's most of it, it's going to be consistency. You've got to keep consistent laps down. You're pushing every lap, you're destroying the tires, and unsettling the car. And you're not going to get this consistent lap. Some real interesting conditions today. So we've gone from soaking wet to bone dry in just 12 laps. Matt's still plugging away. Oh, we got a little bit too spicy. It's a Degna 1. He manhandles it, gets it to Degna 2, and he's off to the races again. Looking fine. Even those tires are pretty beat up. Right! Wilkie Bob gets around James. That must have looked at that. Here they come. There's James. A little over-under from Wilkie Bob. James gets a little wide, and Bob takes the spot. So who's that going off? I believe, was that Matt? Matt went off track there. Yeah, he is absolutely struggling. Looks like you made it through just fine. Well done indeed, sir. As Klaus comes in for new boots. And a full complement of fuel. And she's going to be coming back out on softs. No mediums. He's going to make it to the end of the race. Oops. It's Marky B. Sneaks into the front. He'll need to be coming in for fuel in a couple of laps. Tires look great. Now, unfortunately for him, he has Jeff on his tail. And Jeff is on a softer compound. Oh, look at Kiki Watt! 2:16.3. Beats Jeff's by nearly half a second. This is that. Oh, Spinny dropped to 2:17.9. Really fast. Really fast. The Wilkie Bob's out on mediums. House is now out on mediums as well. This is out now. You have to warm those tires up, buddy. Don't overdrive the car just yet. And James has now dropped down to 6. Still plenty of race to go. So the biggest gap goes back to Matt MacGyver, who's about a minute behind the rest of the pack. Because he's had to make 2 tire changes. So that's not great. We don't have any yellows on this track that are going to slow down the field, so we're going to take one stop and some push in 30 seconds. So that explains his predicament. But the rest of the field is... Oh, Marky B goes wide into the barrier, into the tires, as does Turbo Nova. So Jeff takes the spot, but only barely, thanks to both of them going off track. The car is getting completely out of sorts. So now not only is Marky B dealing with dirty tires, he has front end damage and no fuel. So because of that little mishap, he can't go into the pits. He's forced to stay out on track with very little fuel. So not only does he have to watch his tires, front end damage is cured, but now he has to make a fuel number to get to the end of this lap. It's a tough break for Brian, so we'll find out what happens. Okay, so he's got the lead. Coming into the chicane. Tires look good, he just overcooked it. Yeah, the tires are fine, he just overcooked it coming into the chicane. It was as simple as that. Oh, how unfortunate. Still, maintained second place despite all that. How's Bob doing here? Bob's been rapping. He's on medium tires. As is Klaus. Looks like we have a little bit of a scrap going back here. Not so much toward the back end. Still, we have, what, 30 seconds in the lead. He will have to make a tire change. Turbo Nova off into the lead. As mentioned, 3.2 seconds ahead of Mark. Mark's not pulling away from Spinny's. Crazy, even on a cold track, the softs are falling off very quickly. Doesn't appear to be the best tire to be on if you want to go for a long stint. The track is dry. Starting to see a little water on the track. I wonder if that picked up too tight through the corners, but there is water on the front stretch. Alright, Mark's in for tires. And fuel desperately needed. So he does make that lap. Goodness. Tapping my doubts about him getting all the way around. We'll Wilkie Bob pops into third, Klaus into fourth. Mark and James both go. Now Watt takes over P5. Second. Still 30 seconds behind your leader, Jeff. Jeff just pulling away from Spinny. What happened though? He slowed way down. Yeah, coming through Degna 1, something slowed him down. Let's see if we can see what happened. Right. Oh, he's flying around the corner. Everything looks fine. Looks stable. Oh yeah, look at his tires. Yeah, he's had to slow way down. So, well played. You gotta do what you gotta do. That cost him a couple of seconds. Just amazing how things turn around so quickly on the track. Bob showing an excellent pace. As is Klaus in the back. Excellent race. 2:17.4 and 2:17.7. So very, very closely matched. Mark will have advanced to 2:19 and he's on first mediums. Should be able to get to the end of the race. There's just what's left. James is on fresh mediums. Matt, saving note. Let's see how he gets through spin here. So Matt now, who was a minute one, he's not 51 now. With any luck, he should be able to make up a couple of positions. And he'll start getting. Maybe we'll be using softer compounds, which I think there are none. I think the compounds are it's just on sauce. Wilkie Bob now picking up Spinny. Spinny went in for the lead as Jeff goes into the pits. Wait, no, he's still there. Okay, good. I thought we lost him. Yeah, goes all the way down to fifth. Let's see. What's he? Oh, he's going on softs. Can he make it 8 laps on softs? We'll have to see. He's 25 seconds behind now. Thanks to the pit downs. So we're really going to have to push. And we've been paying any attention to this race thing. I've tried to. If you push the soft tires too hard, they're going to go off. And Klaus and Spinny are in a rocking battle. Through the hairpin. Plenty of room given. Spinny gets the advantage on the inside. Looks like Klaus, though, is on his fender. Coming into the right-hand sweeper, but Spinny's going to have the advantage going in through the spoon. Klaus knows this. Move slides. Oh, no, Klaus wants to do an over-under on him. Oh, well done. Couldn't pull off the maneuver, but well done. That was a pretty strong move by Klaus. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off as he had to slow down to stay off the curb. So that cost him several tenths. Oh boy. Nothing else. It was entertaining, boys. Alright, Watt's still holding the fastest lap at 2:16.3. Change. Turbo Nova now finishing his out lap. A couple of corners. So he'll be on fresh hot tires. Whoa, he gets a lot of air. Didn't see any water splashing up. I think he's okay. No water. Looks like the final 3 corners were bone dry. Oh, Watt and Spinny in on their last set of shoes. That puts Wilkie Bob and Klaus into the lead, P1 and P2. Interesting to see Spinny not have planned. I think they're going to run spots. And Spinny does. Comes out on softs. Mark with a fresh set of mediums. Maybe 2 laps old. James making a charge. And Watt comes out on mediums of all things. Okay. So watch Watt try to bring the neck the right pig. Second laps. Wilkie Bob off into the lead. He can take care of his equipment. Keep it off of anything that remains wet. This could be his win. But I'm certain Klaus and Turbo Nova has something to say about that. Jeff is all the way up into third. It's a little squirrely around the hairpin. Looking very rapid on the new tires. Rob's out. His out lap. Fresh ones. Mark B on his fresh tires. And that looks clean. That's what it looks like. About the same, a little bit more brake input than Rob had to give it. And comes out of smooth. It's a great exit. Just 10.5. So despite having the harder compound, he's able to his pace out of that corner. Although the Spinny is getting very, very wide. As he comes to the chicane, he just came through that sweep too hot. So that gives Mark a break. Although he really had trouble through that hairpin his last time. So any advantage you have from Spinny going off the lines is increased in the chicane. So with 6 to go, Turbo Nova is 17.5 seconds behind Klaus in P2. And Klaus is behind Wilkie Bob in P1 by over 2 seconds. And he is pulling away. 2:17.6 on his last lap. So he's not hurting his tires as much as he had been earlier. Klaus, on the other hand, he's got the medium, so maybe that's what he's able to. And softer compounds are trying to take it a little easier because there's still a lot of laps left. Interesting strategies all the way around with those tires. Oh, Matt gets really loose. Oh, on off in Degna 2. Could not hang on. Let's see what happened. Inside the RC. So he got some grass as he's coming around the left hand. You can hear him pick it up. Very late to brake. And yeah, he just overcooks it, gets it loose, can't make the next turn. Off in the kitty litter he goes. Still, way to maintain it. Yeah, beautiful job. Just keeping the car steady enough that it doesn't start to despite that mishap, good driving. That's Bob has another half second out of that lap to extend his lead. 2:14.8. Oh, no one has even come close to that. That is almost a full 2 seconds better than his best before. Okay, 1.5 seconds, but still. Oh my goodness, that's insane. That is insane. doesn't seem to be having the effect it did earlier. Goodness. And cuts the corner, take the 2. It's a little curve, not too much. Nice and clean. Let's see how dry the hairpin is. Yeah, the hairpin is bone dry. So you can go full send. Yeah, even on the curve, he's not going to get anywhere. So the drivers can go full send if they're able. Klaus with a 216.9, and that's on medium tires. Beautiful. Bob. Wilkie Bob has had his gap erased by Klaus. Klaus is now in the slipstream. Coming into the chicane. Right about on his tail. Both of them grab a lot of curve, no water. As Wilkie Bob dives into the pits. Okay, and Klaus will take the lead. P1 for Klaus. I wonder if he can make it all the way to the end without having to go in. This Matt now seems to be stabilizing. So that will put Jeff into P2. Jeff, 4 laps to go. You have to be real careful with those tires. Pulling down 214.8. I don't know if that's the phrase that you would use for really Jeff is driving. Right? He's squeezing every last little bit flavor out of that car. Right, pops back out. Some softs, beyond cold tires. Spinny has 3.5 seconds to make up on him. Spinny on 3-4 lap tires himself. Got the 216.3 on his last one, so he is pushing. And despite Bob being on cold tires, he is away from spinning. He's just... He's grabbed... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. Don't think you're going to make up a gap that way, my friend. Tough break. I think he just overcut that corner. Into that corner. How's Marky B doing? Oh, Marky! Looking good. 217.6 on the mediums, man. Great lap. And currently closing the gap just ever so slightly. Spin. Rob the Spinny. Spinny Gonzalez. James. His target's delivery. 2.8 behind Marky, so he has the potential to catch up. If he can make those tires last. Watt, on the other hand, is looking pretty sharp. 4.5 seconds or so behind James. Seems to be closing that gap so slightly, so slowly. Matt MacGyver now, still inside of a minute, so good. Nobody's getting lapped in this race. Matt has run a good race, just unfortunately he probably started out with wrong tires, had to make an extra tire change on the outside too. Just made a decision that bit him in the butt. Everybody has to take their best shot. That's what Matt was doing, thinking that this was going to be a wet race, but in fact it has turned into a dry one. So, tough break, but Matt had to make a call. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him today. No telling how it'll work out in the future. Just James down the pits and dropping back. Matt up to 7th. Klaus still in the lead and comfortably, so 15.5 seconds with just 3.5 laps to go. So Klaus will want to take care of those tires, though he's on mediums. Wear is not going to be significant. With a 14.5 second gap, if he can pull 2 19s, he should be just fine. fine. Even 220s might work. You don't really have to push that hard. As you can see, Turbo Nova, Jeff, just absolutely scorching, but you can see how quickly that falls off. So a lot of abrasion on this track. And while the softs are very, very fast from the gate, they fall off very, very quickly. And look at the guys on mediums and see how consistent their laps are on softs. They're going to be doing 217s, 218s, whereas Jeff, 214. I mean, my God, that was right off his outlap. But then you see they drop off 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. So, yeah, tough to make it last. As Klaus is on his penultimate lap. Just crosses the start-finish line into T1. Looking ever so clean. Absolutely perfect racing. Klaus normally is very rapid. Sometimes we'll run into issues with consistency, but boy, not today. He knows what those tires can give him. That's all he's going to take. Because he does not have to overcook the tires. He's going to have a comfortable lead. Jeff, on the other hand, he's going to have to finish out on these tires and the neck. Still, though, I mean, he's putting it through its paces and making it last. So B2 is his if he's careful. Wilkie Bob, on the other hand, another guy who's been extremely quick today. He's on a slightly fresher set and a very low load of fuel, so his car should be getting very good. Rob's looking good. Marky B down in 5th. And Mark had run all the way to the back earlier on, so for him to come back up into the middle of the pack is really, really good. So it's a great run today by Mark. Watt, on the other hand, he's going to the very limit on fuel here. Let's see what he can pull off. Rustmaster. Sounds like a Beyblade. And there's Matt up in the 7th. Somehow James has gotten all the way to the back. Frankly, shocking considered how fast he is. I think just a couple of mishaps and pit strategies probably been his undoing today. Still, putting out cracking laps. He's got a 2:16.6. That's excellent. And here comes Klaus, just crossing the start-finish for his final lap of the day. He's lost about 7 seconds, but that's a hell of a gap to make up for Jeff, especially given the condition of his tires. He will struggle just to keep that thing on pace. His previous lap as he goes off the track. Wilkie Bob looking to snatch that spot from him, which is more and more looking like it's about to happen. Jeff just struggling in the John Player Special. Klaus now has grabbed another 2 seconds gap. Thanks to that off by Jeff. Now Wilkie Bob right on his tail. And Bob's going to dog him into every corner. Through Degna 1, into Degna 2. Lots and lots of brakes for Jeff. And he needs every bit of it. Bob wisely backs off in this spot. Here comes Spinny. It's 11 seconds behind. So this is your race right here, folks. This is where the action is on track. Oh, looks like we have a nice little race developing there between James and Matt. Look at James. James wants to get that spot. James says, I'll take 7th. Thanks very much. But here it is. Race for P2. as Bob gets the inside line into Spoon. Big advantage if he can make it stick. Looks like he's going to. Yes, he does. Jeff is struggling so hard to hold it. Jeff's not giving it up. He knows he has the pace in the straight line. We got a little bit of rain falling now. This is not good. You're seeing a little bit of moisture on the track. That could be bad news for both of these guys. What's going to happen with Jeff? Great move. He has no tires left. Let's get the... Oh, got Klaus. Come on, Klaus. Final chicane around the last right-hander. Flush your lights, Klaus. Congratulations. Klaus for the win. Excellent work, my friend. Wilkie Bob snatches P2 from Turbo Nova, who just took everything that car had. Gave it everything he had. And gets a podium for his trouble. Robin P4 gives us a nice spin. Beautiful finish. Marky B in the middle of the pack. Nicely done, sir, indeed. Comes to 2:17.6 for his fastest lap. Very well done. So we got Watt. Pardon me. Cough button fast enough. Watt in 6th. James picks up 7th from Matt on that last little couple of corners there. And Matt just soaking his tires up with heat. Absolute frustration. Or more likely, good humor. So well done. Yeah, it wasn't your day. Yeah, just didn't quite pick the right strategy. But you were rapid, son. 2:17.4 is a good lap. Very good lap. He wanders into the finish line. Nicely done. Throws a little bit of fire out the back just for good measure. Great race, fellas. A lot of fun. All right, folks. Congratulations to Klaus, the not-so-German. Great race. Picks up 3 spots. He started on row 2 and 4th, all the way to the front. Fantastic run. What Klaus did more than anything, I think, was run a very smart race. He did not overdrive the car, and that seems to have been key. Your results: Klaus von Orlock, 2:16.3 for his best lap. Pulls away from Wilkie Bob with a 6-second gap. Turbo Nova loses P2 at the last to Wilkie Bob, and Wilkie Bob gets P2. Turbo Nova, Jeff gets P3 with a cracking 2:14.8. Nobody was even close to that lap. Spinny, good old Rob, and P4 and P5 goes to Marky B. So the 2 guys in the middle. Great race between both of you. Watt, 6th position with a 2:16.3, also a great lap. James with a 2:15.6, second best lap, very impressive. Yeah. And then Matt, of course, with the tire strategy hurting him, still drops to 2:17.4. Well done indeed. It was not the slowest fast lap, so congratulations on that. Even if you're not feeling good about much else, friend, you ran a great race and you stuck with it. So God bless you. Well done. Well, folks, I'm going to cut it short. I really do appreciate those of you who are watching. I apologize I was not able to follow along with the chat if there was any limitations on my computer. So we're going to say good night, good afternoon, or good morning, where it happened to be. Great race indeed. And for all of us at Rob's Classic Racing League, we hope you'll join us again. If you want to join us on track, go back into the stream, look for the QR codes, get signed up. We'd love to see you on track. Good night, everybody.